Hi, everyone. I am here with the CEO and founder of Nature Syrup Beauty Hair and Skin. And we are just going to share some things that happened to us today and just kind of have a candid conversation about what's been going on with Nature Syrup Beauty.
We are actually in New York City at NRF. NRF is the biggest retail conference in the world. And we are here with people from all over the country. Today, actually, this whole experience has been pretty incredible. My sort of phrase for the year is there's so much power in taking risks, and there's so much power in serendipity. Today was very serendipitous. So I'm going to tell y'all just a quick story about what happened to us today.
First of all, we have been planning for this event for less than
1 week.
less than 1 week. And this woman right here is always like, let's do this with Nature Syrup. So she said, let's go to New York, this Women in Commerce brunch, and let's see what it has to offer. But we wake up on time.
Called the Uber.
We called the Uber.
The Uber was late.
The Uber was late getting to us. So we ended up showing up a little fashionably late.
Like six minutes.
About 6 minutes later to the event that we were supposed to be. We get into the Hotel Chelsea, which is where the event was held. We walk in, she hears the noise, and she said, oh, that must be the event. We walk through this door. It didn't look like an entrance. It was a mirrored door, kind of like a hidden door. She pulls it open and she's like, oh, we here. We start having conversations. We sit down. We're about 10 to 15 minutes in. I start noticing, wait a minute, this says BOF. We're supposed to be at a Women in Commerce event.
Meanwhile, the host had already started introducing themselves. They're like, oh, my name is so-and-so. I'm from Estée Lauder. My name is so-and-so. I'm from Chanel.
These are all like specific beauty brands that
are
major global beauty
brands.
brands. I'm looking back and forth at the screen in front of us and at my email, and I'm like, I text her and I'm like, I think we're at the wrong event. She doesn't see the text until 5 minutes later because I look down the other table and she's like chatting it up, having a time with the person next to her who was from Chanel. She had no idea. She's just living her best life. And meanwhile, I'm just down there like introducing myself to other people too, but I'm still wondering like, we're at the wrong event. So she comes down to tell me to give her the samples and make sure I introduce myself and hand out samples. And I'm like, check your text. So she goes back and she's like, oh, okay. She goes back, looks at her text, and she's like, what? Well, I'm in the right event. You should go to the next door event because if we don't go to that event, they probably won't invite us back.
I stayed in the event. I instantly, when we walked in that room, there was nothing, no signs that we were in the wrong room. It was all about the future of beauty, what they had learned in 2024, insights going into 2025. I'm like, hey, I'm an indie brand. I'm an emerging brand. This is the room that I need to be in. So when I say that this was so serendipitous, and the fact that the Nature Syrup Beauty chief of staff was with me, and we could literally, split our time. And so my first thought was, I have to stay in this room because this is the room that God wanted me to be in. So you should go and learn everything that there is to learn in this other room, and we can still be in two places at one time. So when I talk about taking risks, to me, this was one of those moments where we were not supposed to be in the room with Chanel. We were not, the plan was not for us to be in that room, but we were absolutely supposed to be in there. It was such an incredible opportunity for us. And I am so grateful that the Uber was late because, I was really irritated with the Uber driver because we called the Uber driver on time. He showed up late. We could literally see him in the app down the street. And I'm like, well, what's taking him so long? If we were on time, if the Uber driver had came on time, we would have mapped out what room we were supposed to be in, and we would have known exactly where we were expected to be. But when we walked into the hotel, I heard people talking, and I'm like,
And she
that's the
moved.
room. And we went right in the room.
We didn't ask any questions. We didn't say, is this the right room? Is this where women in e-commerce is? We didn't say anything. We just started to introduce ourselves. So that is also a show of sometimes you got to walk into these spaces and don't question yourself. Don't question where you are and just go for it. Show up like the diva that you are.
And let me just say, when we walked into the room, there were 2 seats left. So Monet sat in one seat, I sat in the other seat. When Monet got up to leave, that's when the lady from Chanel came in, and they pulled up a chair for her, and she ended up sitting right next to me. Tell me that's not meant to be. It was, I mean, we only planned this trip a week ago. I was invited to the brunch, the Women in E-Commerce Brunch in New York, and I didn't know anything about the NRF. So it is so important to take risks, to get yourself into those rooms. And when you get into those rooms, really just operating as if you're supposed to be in that room. There was nothing about how we showed up today that made anybody question that we should not have been in that room with Estée Lauder, Chanel, Elf Cosmetics, and all the other brands that were there. And so I am just grateful for what opened up for us today. It was serendipitous. It was a blessing, and it was our time. It was a space that we should have been in. And so that's what it's about, taking risks and really believing that your time is now.
Your time is now.
What can I say? 2025 is definitely going to reap a harvest because we've been putting in the work. We continue to take those risks. And I just believe that Nature Zero Beauty has also been this amazing opportunity for me to not only formulate products, but to also dive deep into an industry that has not been so open and welcoming to indie brands, especially Black-owned brands. And so my goal is to go out there and create spaces for people like myself, founders like myself, who are looking for more information and to share that information so that we can all grow and so that we can all become billion-dollar brands.
Period. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching with us. If you have any questions or you want to know anything, hit us up on social media at Nature Syrup on all platforms.
Nature Syrup on all platforms.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.